Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. 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 'Cause your love changes everything. Your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing. 'Cause your love changes everything. Your love changes everything. Oh, there's something about your love. Something about your love changes everything in my body. Oh, something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. It changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. It changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. 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 Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything.
Hey. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. We're living sent, y'all. We're living sent. Let's say good morning to some folk. We got Chuck B. Good morning, sir. Steven Drew. Bert Reggiani. Good morning, fellas. Man, it's a great day. I'm standing up, obviously. I don't even know if this camera goes up any higher because yeah, we're going to get there. But Diane Drew is here. Good morning to you. Um, good morning. So, yeah, the reason I'm staying up, I've been thinking about this all morning long. All morning, I've just been like in my brain thinking about this. And so it's like, now I'm bringing y'all with me. Y'all coming right in, and you're going to join me. So, what I've been thinking about, I've been up since like 4 a.m. And like, I've just been imagining. And I know, all right, so come on, let's come on in. Connie's in the building. Good morning. All right, so okay, since 4 a.m. I've been thinking about, we all know the story where Peter gets out of the boat, right? He's walking on water. It's this storm. There's this crazy storm that's happening, and everybody's in the boat. They're freaking out, and they're like, "What's going on?" You know, and then they see this figure walking on the water, right? And what does Peter do? Peter's like, "Man, master, like Jesus, if that's you, bid me to come. Like if that's really you, man, I want to do what you're doing. If that's really you, then man, you got to call me out there because I want to take part in this. I want to experience that too. Whatever. We don't know the motivation, but he's like, man, he's seeing Christ do something, and he's just like, man, I want to do it too. If you're doing that, man, I want to take place in it, right? And so it's just this awesome scene where Jesus is walking on the water. There's a storm. Like, remember that there's a storm happening. Everything is going crazy. And then Peter gets out of the boat, right? Like, and I was just trying to imagine like what that was like. What like all the emotions, all the everything, like just like what's happening like on if I was Peter, what would be happening if I was Peter, like stepping out of the boat, seeing my mentor, my leader, this person that what Peter says, right? Like the guy who has the words of eternal life, right? The guy who's when he speaks, I come alive inside. If I saw somebody like that walking on water, right? What would be going through my head? What would be going through my emotions? Obviously, Peter was like, man, I want to experience it too. Like, I want to get out there. I want to be close to you, right? And so he steps out of the boat and he's doing something that he thought moments before was impossible, right? And he's walking on water. He's taking steps on water. And I don't know about you, but like if it was me, if I was walking on water, I would be probably jumping on water. I'm like, what is happening? I'm literally walking on water, right? And he's probably like, what is going on? And he's probably freaking out. Like, this is crazy. This has to be the most, I don't even know, exhilarating thing he's ever experienced. This has to be like the greatest moment of his life, right? Like he's experiencing something that he thought was impossible, right? Like he didn't even have, there wasn't even like a question like, hey, one day I want to walk on water. You're right. Like this is just blowing his mind probably. Like it would be blowing my mind. Like there's just something that should never have happened. This is something I never gave room for in my thoughts. Like this is possible. I can do this one day. I have a goal. Like there's no goal to do this. Like he's doing something that like this is crazy, right? He's walking on water. And then all of a sudden something changes, right? Something crazy happens. We don't know what happens. The Bible doesn't really say, but we can only just think about like, what did he look to the left? Did he look to the right? Was he reminded that he was in the midst of a storm, right? Did he look out and he's like, oh yeah, there's a storm happening around me, right? Because at first he doesn't see the storm, right? Like we have to imagine that he's just freaking out, like I'm on water, I'm walking on water, And so then what happens? Does he look and he's reminded of this storm that's taking place around him, and all of a sudden he starts to sink, and it's just like, what is happening? And the only thing I can think about is like that he is looking around him and he's reminded that there's a storm, and somehow what he knows or what he knew about a storm and walking on water is now affecting his present, right? And so he's allowing something that he learned yesterday to affect what God is teaching him today. And I'm like, man, I don't want to ever get in this place. If I was ever in this experience of walking on water or doing something that I thought was impossible. Like God has led me to this place. I'm doing something that I thought was impossible. I never thought I could ever do this thing. I don't want to ever look to the left, or I don't want to look to the right and get reminded of a storm that's happening, because the storm was still happening even when he was walking. Like that, nothing changed. I don't ever want to be thinking about all these outside pressures and all these other things, is if this and if that. man, I just want to stay locked on Christ. I just want to stay locked in on the moment. Like, man, I'm doing something impossible. I'm being held up by a power that's outside of me. And I just want to continue to run towards him. I just want to continue to focus on him. And that's the reality of our lives. Like, God is calling us out into places. He's calling us to live sent. And he leaves us with this promise that, lo, I will be with you always. He's going to come with us. And when we are in those experiences, when we're in those moments where, we're having this amazing God appointment with this person at the grocery store or whatever, and there's always these things that pop in our heads, and they're like, man, but I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. They're going to say something. They're going to do something. And we're like, man, I got to shy away. I got to come back. Hey, let me just tell them to come to church on Sunday and then walk away. Or I told them that I'll pray for them, but I don't want to embarrass myself and pray for them in the moment. And we start looking at the storm. We start looking at all these things that was like, man, let's just keep focused. Like, God got me into this place. I'm doing something that I never thought I would do. And so why not just keep going? Why not just keep pressing in? And so when we're in those conversations, we got to know that God has led us into this conversation. And so why wouldn't he give us the words? Why wouldn't he give us the utterance to finish it, to see it come to fruition? And so that's my exhortation for you guys today. This is just like, man, 4 a.m. here and my brain's been going crazy. But man, like I just love the picture. Like, man, let's step out of the boat. And if we're bold enough to step out of the boat, man, let's be bold enough to run, to finish the race and just go all the way to him. And so that's my exhortation for you today. I love you. God is leading us. Like there are preordained good works that he's preordained us to walk in and walk out. And so today, when the opportunity door rings and bell rings, whatever, I can't even talk right now. But when you're faced with that God moment, right, when you recognize, man, this is a holy moment, right? Like I'm walking into a conversation, or maybe it's been something that's weighing on your heart for the past week. Like, man, I was supposed to reach out to this person, but I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. Maybe the Lord woke me up at 4 a.m. just for you, and to just inspire you to, man, like let's go. Let's do it. God is with me. I'm doing it. I'm going to do something impossible. I'm going to do something that takes more than my strength and my wisdom. I'm going to lean and be totally dependent on the Lord to keeping me up. All right. That's it, y'all. I love you guys. Let's see. Oh, we got Pastor Tom popped on, Brian Fleming, Karen Thompson. Bursting out of you. Come on. All right, y'all. That's it. I love you. Have a great Friday. Let Jesus be seen in you today. All right. Peace. I would click the wrong button. See? Anyways.